A close ally of former President Goodluck Jonathan has confirmed that the Bayelsa-born politician is ready to join the 2027 presidential race on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. According to the source, Jonathan has accepted appeals from party elders and key national figures who believe his leadership could address Nigeria's worsening poverty, hardship, and economic decline. Consultations are ongoing with influential leaders, including former military president Ibrahim Babangida, to build nationwide support for his one-term candidacy. The PDP is actively wooing Jonathan with top officials, including Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi and National Financial Secretary David Woyenikuro, endorsing him as the party's best candidate. David openly backed granting Jonathan an automatic ticket, insisting that his return will reshape the political landscape and strengthen the party's southern presidency push. The move is reportedly supported by some governors and high-ranking stakeholders who have also met Jonathan abroad to persuade him. However, Jonathan's eligibility remains a point of legal debate due to the 2018 constitutional amendment limiting terms for presidents sworn in to complete another tenure. While some lawyers argue the law cannot be applied retroactively to bar him, others believe a 2027 victory would breach the constitutional 8-year limit. PDP chieftain Bode George insists Jonathan is fully qualified, citing his track record and the doctrine of necessity that saw him complete Umaru Yar'Adua's term before winning the 2011 election. What do you make of this development in the 2027 presidency race?
Jonathan is a citizen of the Republic of Nigeria. But where I want to emphasize more is on the aspect of, being already taken out of office twice, where some legal practitioners have, some are for, some are against. So if the Constitution has given that clarity, that if someone has taken, out of office twice as president, shouldn't contest. I do not know about that, but maybe the legal practitioners will put us through.
Is it out of office or elected term? He was not elected on the other one. It was a doctrine of necessity that was invoked by the National Assembly to have him finish Yar'Adua's term. What the Constitution says is to run 2 tenures as an elected president. So it's an elective position. That position was not elective.
Okay. We still need legal practitioners because there are some of the problem we have legally in this matter. So let them come and then try to educate.
You have accused lawyers of being the problem.
But that's who they are. That's who they are. So let them educate us on that. So aside from that, Jonathan is a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which has rights as every other citizen so far for any elective position in this country. Now that the People's Democratic Party is a political party, I don't know whether he's still in the party. I don't know.
Yes, we've not heard that he has resigned.
Maybe.
So I guess he's still in the party, probably not active.
Let's assume so. Assume so because of some unguarded statement made by some Nigerians who is members of People's So for me, he has that constitutional right. If the lacuna of taking out of office twice and all of that is not an impediment to him, that's aside. Now, people are saying that some members of the People's Democratic Party, especially the National NWC, are waiting or ready to give him that waiver to contest. Who am I to say no? But the fact is that it is a will of Nigerians to vote for whoever they want. So I cannot bar him. If the People's Democratic Party tomorrow decided to make him their presidential candidate, I don't have a problem with that. But I think the final thing should be Nigerians would decide who become their president come 2027.
You still believe so much confidence.
Of course now, but I shouldn't.
So you think votes will count this time around? You think INEC will come out this time around?
Doesn't mean that vote has not been counted.
Has it been counting?
I don't know. Maybe I'm jittery or something like that.
Why are you jittery?
Because
you spoke confidently.
That's I said maybe I'm jittery, but let's assume that Nigerian votes do count. on every election cycle.
Okay.
Let us also believe that 2027 is not an obstacle, that Nigerian votes should not be counted. But we are hoping all the contestants should abide by the rules of the game. Because where we have problems sometimes in the past is when there is conflict of personality or conflict of politicking from the politicians. So we have this problem. But if that is settled within the same politicians, then we can assure of a free, fair, credible elections come 2027. But the aspect of Jonathan coming back, let him think. Will he be accepted by Nigerians? Can he also pull down the obstacles that will be posed by other politicians like Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, even the incumbent president himself? Because you cannot rule out this fact. As a president, he must look at it very objectively. I mean, as a former president, so that Nigerians shouldn't take me for granted. Please, I'm not calling Jonathan. He's not the president. He's a former...
We know it's a sleep.
Some person can say that this man is calling Jonathan the president. Please, it's not so.
Right.
Jonathan is the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so if he has what it takes, to muzzle with this political vehicle I have made mention of, fine and good. But as a Nigerian, he has that right to contest.
Now, to a large extent, one would say Jonathan coming into the presidential race, to a large extent, might change the dynamics of how this whole political power play will go, considering that of all the candidates, only 2 have 4 years left. That is Tinubu and Jonathan. So now that means that Jonathan could be the greatest threat that Tinubu might face if he decides to join the race. Because now the North, there is call for Southern presidency, rotation of the presidency between the North and the South. Now, Obi has already promised 1-year presidency, which Agrewa group, for example, came out to discredit that. And there is trust deficit, especially considering that once he becomes president, he might decide to contest for second tenure, and there is nothing anybody can do about it because constitutionally he's empowered to do that. That's on one hand. However, Jonathan cannot go beyond 4 years, and there is a possibility that, if for people who would not want Tinubu to return, the best option, particularly for the Northerners, to go for now with Jonathan, because Jonathan cannot exceed 4 years. The moment he's done, he's going to step down. So how do you see that playing out in this whole political intrigue that we are going to see building up to 2027?
And that is a political permutations we've been having, over the time, that people will, look at the political history of Nigeria and try to play it according to this history. And I know that Jonathan is constitutionally barred not to go beyond 4 years. And so for that, the northern political elites could also look at that and then decide on what to do. Because they wouldn't want a situation where someone outside the incumbent president, to emerge the president. Because if that happened, the president also have constitutional right to seek for re-election in the next election cycle after 2027 and all of that. So looking at that will also be played out. So we cannot put that aside completely. That is not important. But looking at it, we also look at Obi. Obi is also saying that, look, if you give me 4 years, then I will not seek for re-elections. That is human being for you. It is, for me, I look at it as political statement that can be, can be jettisoned as time progresses.
Do you see the North trusting that promise?
Well, the Northerners here in this business, they are like, should I say it, the midwife. They are not the one that is being pregnant, but the importance of the midwife to a pregnant woman is very, very important, and that is the way I am seeing the North here. So looking at it, but if they look at it that, look, it will not give them that credit they are looking for come 2027. They also decide among the big wings, you know, and say, okay, let us play this game this way so that at the end of the day, we will still gain come 2031. Because no matter how we look at it, people will still be projecting 2031 as being very important when it comes to election cycle. Yes, as being very important when it comes to election cycle.
Whoever emerges now affects the outcome of
2031. So they also look at that.
Now, how do you think this could play out? Do you think that the choice of running mates for these presidential candidates will make or mar their election?
I think so, because we've started, you know, hearing from the presidency currently that the current vice president might be dropped. You understand? So I do not know about the authenticity of that information. But we shouldn't take this news lightly because it might come to manifest the way it is being predicted. So for that, it might be. But looking at the running mate to Jonathan, if the dice cast in his favor as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, the running mate will be very vital and important to the North. Because just like what happened during the time of the incumbent president, the issue of the Muslim ticket and Muslim-Christian ticket came to play out. So at the end of the day, they look at it that, look, they don't want APC to lose out completely. It's okay, let's just do it this way. And they position themselves the way we had today. But
it's a Muslim ticket.
Of course now, because Shettima is a Muslim, the current president is also a Muslim. So that was how they put it, and it works for them, which a lot of persons kick against that. But if they also look at it in that light, because what prompted this discussion is about Jonathan, who is the center of our discussion currently, I mean right now. Now, if they want to do that, changing the dynamics of politics, of how it should be played, based on what they have in mind, that if they allow somebody outside that to go, based on the fact that they want to respect that gentleman agreement that is not in the Constitution. Remember, the issue we are discussing is not
a gentleman's
agreement. That has been on since 1999 till date. So for that reason, if that happens, fine, they will look at for a credible running mate.
Not just a credible running mate, but someone that is popular within the northern elites, northern oligarchy, and the northern masses as well. Someone that could be able to divide the votes of Atiku, divide the votes of whoever the president's running mate is going to be. And that means that that will also affect who the chairman of the party will be. Because, I mean, the party chairman, the running mates, the vice president, there has to be a certain kind of agreement. And if you notice, President Ibu has been able to play that very smartly by settling the North Central with APC national chairmanship. So North Central is no longer agitating for vice presidency because they have been settled on that end. Now, Shettima, on the other hand, is representing another part of the North, and the people are insisting it has to be Shettima. And then Tinubu, played a smart one when he also had that meeting with Kwankwaso, and Kwankwaso came out and said, okay, I am not a member of the APC, but I'm going to work for Tinubu. He has said that openly. And Kano has the highest votes. And while all these things were happening in my head, I was like, why is Obino reaching out to some of these political heavyweights in the North to probably strike a conversation around having a running mate that could divide the votes of the president in the North come 2027?
Okay. Now, looking at what the current president is contemplating to do politically, is in the right trajectory. Is in the right trajectory, in the sense that Kano State, when it comes to general election, is very important, and no president, no presidential candidate or incumbent president who want to go back to office, who want to sideline that, no. And that is why the issue of planning to drop Shetima and maybe bring somebody like Kwankwaso into the limelight that would change the political dynamics in the north. That aside, then looking at Jonathan, like the current acting chairman of the party is from the northeast. This Damagun is from the northeast, which is not proper because the vice president is from the northeast. And so that is what you see the APC is trying to do, to make sure that the party chairmanship goes to the north central, to stabilize that power sharing thing to the 6th geopolitical zone. Because when you look at it, that the Senate president is for the south-south, the president south-west, the position of the vice president goes to the northeast, then the speakership of the what do you call it? A House of Reps goes to the northwest, and they share it among themselves. Then the southeast took the position of deputy speaker of the House of Reps, and they shared it in that way to cover this position. But then, if they want to restructure that, it's good for them to do that. But time is no longer on their side. They should do that. They should start now.
All right.
To balance the situation. If not,
and also put their house together
in order, because already now PDP is in this area. Seriously, we have
hopefully,
I don't want to go into
they are
that.
beginning to